So what's it like to work with Greg?
It's a big pain in the ass. No. I was going to say that.
Got arrested.
You got arrested, and I came to bail you
Yes,
out. I don't want to give that story away.
That sounds
I
like
got
a good
arrested
story.
Because of a warrant on a
They had me
ticket.
friggin' handcuffed. If money were not a factor, what I still do today, what I'm going to do today.
No doubt. We would be writing songs if we were the only two guys on this planet.
Exactly.
100%.
And then
100%.
that's it. Check, check, check.
Do I?
Check,
Yeah,
check,
yeah,
check.
yeah.
So if we're
This
talking.
is Greg. We're talking.
Exactly.
I'm here, I'm talking.
I love that.
Yes. Someone I've been playing music with for about 2 years yesterday was like, so which part of Canada did you grow up in? I was like,
Nope. I'm the real deal.
Yeah. Actually, no, it was Thomas.
Oh, Thomas?
Yeah, Thomas was like, so which part of Canada were you? I'm like,
All right. Well, welcome live to. Wait, what did you tell me to say? So this is our first live stream, giving artists a true chance to be heard once again, bringing back the Sunset Sessions spirit and brand. Mm-hmm. And I'm so pleased to have such a talented young artist like you here. And tell me a little bit about yourself. First, it's amazing that you sing in French and in English. So tell me about that. Where were you born?
yeah, well, I was born in France, so my first language is French. I learned English when I was 10, when I moved to California. I moved to the Bay Area. And strangely, I'm not really sure why, but I started singing when I was 13, 14, so I'd only been in America for like 3 or 4 years. I'd only been speaking English for like 3 and 4 years. And but really the first kind of 10 years of my singing was just in English. And then about 2 years ago, I kind of started realizing like French is my first language. It's kind of unique. It kind of is something different. And it's, kind of the language of love and stuff. I just kind of realized like, why do I not sing in French more? So I've been doing a lot more of it now. But
So when you write a song, do you decide at the beginning, like this is going to be an English song and this is going to be a French song?
Not really. What ends up deciding a lot of it is, well, what I've been doing recently is that I've been kind of taking a song. Once I have a song, whether it's in French or English, I always end up translating it or if not translating it, doing a version in the other language afterwards.
That's cool.
Mostly because the way I see it, I'm like, I already put in the work. I got a great chord progression. I got the melodies. I could start from scratch, or I can kind of have the cheat code of like just figure out new words and I have a whole new song. Also, when I'm producing, if I kind of make a whole production, it's that same kind of thought process. Like, I might as well just replace the vocals and then I don't have to remix a whole song. But a lot of times, if I'm with Robbie, who's my co-writer, we'll just start in English and then I'll do it in French. If I'm alone, a lot of times I'll write in French because I like to write with him in English. So I kind of take those things into account. Yeah.
So really, could any song go
Yes.
in either language?
Well, what I found is like, and this is kind of what I mean by I don't really translate it most of the time. Most of the time I just end up kind of recycling some of the melodies and stuff like that. You can always, on a good chord progression, write a song in French or in English. But a lot of times if you write like a song in French and then you try to translate the words into English, it doesn't work. The structure of the language, the syllables don't fit into the melody. None of the words rhyme.
Right.
So you can't really just translate, but you can always, write a new song, basically, in the other language.
So you're a songwriter, a performer, and a producer. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And how do you change hats or do you?
I not physically, no, I'll keep the same hat on, but I think the producing side of it has pretty much just been a necessity up until very recently, and now I'm able to produce with other people, which is a blessing, and just being able to get input from other people and being able to delegate a little bit is huge. But just at a young age, I wanted to make more complicated productions. I wanted drums in my songs. I wanted piano, and I didn't have anyone to do that, so I just kind of had to learn it. But yeah, I think in that order, kind of singer, songwriter, performer, producer.
And now you play live solo acoustic only, or?
I play with a band too sometimes when I can find one. Pretty much, I've been to New York a few times. I did the Bitter End in New York, and there I played with a full band with my friend Dave Kolker. He kind of helped set that up. I've done that a few times. Apart from that, really, I've done a few performances in LA too, actually, with Sal Guglielmi, Bob Conti, and Matthew Gurman. We did a show at the Hotel Cafe. So I've done a few here and there, but really mostly it's just me and the guitar. Yeah.
That's cool. I always feel like if an artist can pull it off with just you and the guitar, then all the other stuff is kind of fluff and added. But it comes down to, can you do it with just you and a guitar?
Yeah.
Like, is the song strong enough?
Yeah.
For just you and a guitar?
I totally agree. I think that's why a lot of times I'll write them on the guitar, even if in my mind I hear something more modern or something, or I'm thinking I'll put a synth here or whatever, because then I know I can play it on the guitar. You know.
So this day and age, it's like things are different for artists, you know, from when I started in the music industry, which then it was like, you know, you made a demo and you got a record deal and you made a record and then you got it on the radio and then you went and played and there was a whole, you know, to get from you and your mind and your heart to the public, there are a whole bunch of steps and a whole bunch of people. That's not really the case anymore. So, and I think you've been really successful just plugging in to your phone and Instagram or streaming. I mean, what's your process been like to get to your fans and the public?
Yeah, it's taken different shapes. I had a concept I lived in Santa Cruz for a while because that's where I went to college, and I kind of had a concept where every day I would go to the beach. I had a setup. I had my laptop, my microphone, a camera, and I would just set up and do a song. And I did that, and I told myself I'm going to post every day, whether I like the video or not. I'm going to film it. I'm going to post it.
Right.
And so that was kind of how I got into the flow of kind of being more active on social media and all of that. But yeah, I think there's pros and cons to all of it. It's mostly pros. It's mostly just the fact that, you know, all you need is your iPhone, literally. I mean, it helps to have great microphones and it helps to have all that stuff, but I agree with you. I think if the song is strong enough, it comes across on an iPhone. It comes across on just an acoustic guitar. And yeah, it's really opened up the gate, I think.
And so how do you make money though?
Well, streaming. I mean, mostly streaming, so like, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Deezer, a little bit YouTube AdSense, you know, so any kind of ad revenue like that. That's mostly where it's at today. And then live performances.
And do you make enough to support yourself yet as an artist?
Yeah, just kind of recently, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
And
it.
that's the bottom line. If you can do what you love and make a living doing it, then that's the magic ticket,
Exactly.
magic bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
And so how long have you been writing with, well, you refer to him as Robbie. We
Yes.
refer to him as White Bread.
White Bread, that's right.
Yes, White Bread, and then it was AKA Bob Stein. But so how long have you been writing with Robbie?
So I've been writing with Robbie since I was 16. I started writing with Robbie. I never really wrote songs before I met Robbie. And I wrote my first song with Robbie, actually.
Wow.
And so I found out also semi-recently that I've been calling him Robbie for like 8 years. Everybody else in his life calls him Bob or Bobby, I think is more common.
He's
but
Bobby for us. Yeah.
He's Bobby, yeah. So, but I met him when I was 16. It's a long story, but I met him through a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and he basically had a song in mind for me to do, but the whole thing was already produced. He realized that my voice didn't fit the key for the song. But in his words, and I'll let him say maybe more, but
he's here,
what
right?
he told me was that he didn't want to be that guy from LA that's just like, oh no, and then just kind of brushes me aside, you know? So he said, hey, come down to LA, come hang out, come with your dad and a friend, and we'll just hang out and write songs and see what happens. And that's what we did. And we've been writing ever since.
I remember he would say, this kid, I'm working with this kid, you're not a kid anymore. Bobby's around here somewhere, isn't
Where's
he?
Robbie?
Bobby?
Robbie, where you at? Come on.
Bobby, Robbie,
I'm
White Bread.
shy.
Get
You're
over
shy.
here.
No,
Get
you're
over
not.
here.
Come on,
You're
I'm
not
camera
shy at all.
shy.
One of
on.
my
Wait, hold on.
BFFs and
I'm gonna do
Sunset
the limbo.
Sessions
Yeah, do the limbo.
alumni.
Don't knock over the
Hello,
mic.
darling. Can I
Hi,
get
Bobby.
over?
Oh, that's okay. We're too old. Exactly right.
Hello,
and
everybody.
So, welcome.
in podcast world.
Thank-
Hello.
Thank you for bringing your amazing artist to the Sunset Sessions Live.
I couldn't be more excited because Sunset Sessions has a incredibly rich history. And the reason it has such a rich history is because of you. And you have broken so many artists. I don't want to embarrass you, but Jason Mraz, you had a big hand in John Mayer, Hootie and the Blowfish. I could go on and on and on and on and on. And I was blessed enough to work with you when I was just floating around as a hip hop artist. And
right.
you got me
Mr. White
on,
Bread.
yeah, you got me on Kiss and you got me on Power, and I am so eternally grateful to you. I feel there's nothing more important than continuing the tradition of Sunset Sessions. And Greg, you did such a great job today, and I'm honored really to be a part of this. And so thank you. And
Yes,
I'm not usually
I-
serious like this.
It's true.
I
I
don't
thought
know
he
how
was
to
gonna
do
come on
it.
here and crack
I might
jokes.
start crying.
I mean, Bobby, because we've been friends through it all. It's like you were the artist and I was the indie, you know, because I was like, when I met you, I was doing NAC. You don't even know what that is, like smooth
Like
jazz.
Yanni.
Right? Yanni. I was breaking Yanni, right?
Yeah.
Promotion on the Wave in Los Angeles. And we met at a Gavin convention in San Francisco. And I mean, God, I think I was actually younger than you. I was 23 or 22
A
at the
fearless,
time.
like, I brought you down to USC one time to Kevin
Yeah.
Lyman's class.
Yeah.
And I like to roll you out because, like my mother, who had a master's in education, my mom was fearless. You are fearless. And you did incredible work in what was considered to be a man's world. And that should be noted as well. And I think that's really, really important because you're not only a role model to me, you're a role model to many women. I don't know what that says about me, but you know what I mean? But it's cool.
That's my book that I've been almost done, The Hit Woman, which is about that, you know, being,
Yes,
an
100%.
being an indie in a very male-dominated music industry. But I remember feeling like, you know, I'm getting Yanni played on the Wave, thanks to Linda Fetter, who hired me for that. So I can surely get this white Jewish lawyer rapper, which is what White Bread, and this song Sweat played on Kiss. How could it be that different? Really, that's what I thought. So I didn't know I couldn't, right? I thought, you know, it's the same thing, right? Yeah, no, a little difference. But yeah, and so you were like that. We were that as friends. And then you were an artist that played at my Sunset Sessions events, and you
Yes.
were a sponsor of my Sunset Sessions events with your Organically Grown
That's true,
company
yes,
as well,
yes.
and came and interviewed amazing
Like
artists.
Nate Royce and Jimmy Cliff. We just lost Jimmy.
Yeah.
And a lot of great people. You know.
And then the songwriter retreats, you know, with
you introduced me to Jack
Jack Tempchin. Yeah.
And then I ended up writing a few songs on his album, and that was a lot of fun. And it was a great experience. It was a learning experience for me too, and I so appreciate that. And I would say that you know, just that it started. Our relationship, in a weird way, started like my relationship with Greg. It started with a pure intention. It was kind of like fearlessness, and here it is.
100%. You didn't even know me. You were just like, oh, let's get this 16-year-old kid who did a cover of Despacito to come to my house and hang out for 2 days and see.
Yeah,
if
and
he
we
can
had
write.
Uncle
And you didn't
Sal
even know.
there, Sal Guglielmi, who played with Donna Summers. And,
Yeah, we had Sal there. Yeah.
and so many great people. But it was more like I didn't want to be that dude who passed on a kid. And
Yeah,
and
I remember.
And you know what it was like? It's like
Yeah, but that's huge. I mean, most people wouldn't even we'd never even met or anything. It would have been one message, you know. You could
Yeah,
have been
but-
like, nah, man, it's not going to work, you know.
You know what it is? I got into the business. I mean, I got into songwriting because I love it. And then it started getting to the point in LA where, like, what's the project? I'd call people up, hey, you want to write? What's the project? And here was this kid that was just beginning to write because he loved it. Like, you had half of one song called Roller Coaster, if you remember that. And then I said,
Baby loves a roller coaster. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it was like, let's continue down this path. Let's just see what happens. Like, let's just play with the clay. And it was all about, like, the intention. It's a good intention. You were fearless, and we've all become good friends, you know, and that's really important too, you know, and we've written some good songs.
You know what else was remarkable? I want to note when I had my sunset sessions, let's say I was running, it started in 1998, 2005, all of a sudden I was having a sunset sessions in Puerto Vallarta.
Yes.
And I had like 6 extra rooms at the hotel that I had to either use or release. And my assistant, the girl in my office, Christy Stevens, said, why don't we invite music supervisors? And I said, well, what's a music supervisor? You know, in 2005, it just wasn't a thing. Like, we didn't know what that was. And she was taking a class and told me, and I said, sure, let's find some music supervisors and include them. They weren't normally included with radio, ever, anywhere in the music industry. And I mentioned it to you, and you're like, oh, I know somebody. I know some music supervisors.
Well, we got Bonnie Greenberg.
And you got Bonnie, and then she introduced us to
everybody, really.
Yeah.
But what was so great about that weekend, I had 2 songs in the sequel to a Mask movie that Bonnie
Right.
Was a music supervisor.
That's right.
And it broke that weekend, and Bonnie was down there, and I think Maureen Crowe was down there.
Maureen and
Mark
and
Goodman
Mark
was there.
Goodman
A lot of
and
great
Alex
people.
Patsavis.
And Alex was there.
Alex
right.
was there.
And that was pre-Twilight,
Yes,
too.
and that was like the beginning of, and then
Yes.
that became a thing. So after
Right.
that, I made that, you know, the core of Sunset Sessions was that I would bring in radio programmers and from around the country, and I would have artists play for them in a very relaxed, beautiful setting. So they were open and receptive to new music, open ears and open hearts, you know, and it was a requirement. So it was like we covered the expenses for this radio person to come. And the only agreement was that they had to give you a chance.
That's such an awesome concept to have, like, a setup of people doing shows, but you move through with a whole group, and you guys, and there's no competition. It's not like a festival where you have to choose one or the other, and that's really, really cool.
So many great memories.
it's probably time
Jewel.
Jewel was great.
Yeah,
Jeez,
Jewel. Stephen Stills.
Yeah, well, Jewel and
Yeah.
Stephen Stills, that was
at the Parker.
It was in Palm Springs. We bought out the Parker. How
Yeah,
cool is that?
that was very
It
cool.
was a really swanky hotel in
Yeah.
Palm Springs. And it was the first time we were doing the continental U.S., which was scary because usually we were someplace tropical and hot, and you know.
Yeah.
And we pushed it a little bit later, so it was like March instead of February to try to get a little warmer. And then all of a sudden, it was the first time in like decades it snowed in Palm Springs. It's like this bizarre.
And wasn't it? It was
we had to
raining
mo-
and snowing, and
we-
people were
We had to move the shows inside, which we had never done before, into the ballroom. And
That's right.
and Jewel was scheduled to play, and Stephen Stills, and Jewel missed her flight.
Yes.
So then we had to put Stephen Stills on first, and then Jewel acoustic, which was, you know, inside a ballroom.
Yeah.
And Jewel was great. Man, they lost her. I mean, she showed up in like jeans and a t-shirt and, and a guitar.
And she just nailed it. She was great. You know, I give her a lot of credit. You know, that was great. And then her writing partner, Steve Pultz, what was his name?
No, Steve Pultz. Yeah, he was great.
Great guy. And he lit up Sunset Sessions as well.
And you know, the Black Keys,
And
that was their launch, was like Sunset Sessions in one of the late night lounges.
Yeah.
That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Gary Clark Jr.
So it goes
That's it.
on and on and on. I want to say one more thing about this guy because I haven't said that much about him.
Maybe we'll have to start it again just so we could get everybody in front of him.
Yeah, let's just do
You
it.
know?
We got right, exactly right.
He's like sitting there going, wait, where was I? How come I'm not even going?
You know,
I'm like just happy to hear these stories. I wish I could have seen it. It sounds.
Well,
it
you may
sounds
be
really
part of it
special. It's a
again.
little bit, and
Exactly.
that's kind of what's exciting. And I think this is a really great way to do it because I think live streaming is huge now. That's a huge part of how people kind of watch these, and there's so much content. People are spending. Yeah, should we wait a little?
So what's it like to work with Greg?
It's a big
for
pain
you?
in the ass. No. I was going to say that Greg, like he's right here, so it's hard to say this, but it's
So you
true.
wouldn't talk shit about him?
He has an extraordinary work ethic. You know, so I said to him, like, your nickname is Bud, like Budweiser, because every day he's building his brand, and he's a workaholic. He's great. And a matter of fact, because I also manage him, and I have to say to him the opposite, take a break, go hike, go to the gym. Like, I have the opposite problem.
He's like, go to the gym, man.
No, because you know.
Yeah. No, you're great about that. Yeah.
Just because he's so intense and he has such a great work ethic that I want to make sure that he balances that with other aspects of his life. And I'm very, I don't know. I don't want to sound. I don't know if this is the right word, but I'm very, very proud of you and being a part of your life. It's really been a joy. And then writing songs, we just laugh and we have fun, and we made up words like if a lyric sounds too corny, we don't say we just say we're in Nebraska. Or if it's cheesy, we say, it's a little too Wisconsin. You know?
Yeah.
So we have fun ways, and we just keep
No
pushing.
offense to Nebraska.
No offense.
Or
No,
Wisconsin.
I love those
of course,
places.
It's just gotta do with
I've never been to
agriculture.
either, but I love those places.
Yes.
No, I
Just to do with agriculture. That's all.
Yeah.
agriculture. Yes. But it's been a real honor and a joy, and it's been a fun trip. A fun journey is what it's been with you, Greg. So I really
Thanks,
appreciate
man.
it.
I appreciate it. And I just want to say on that, I think it's super. Where I'm really lucky is that today, with social media and with the mediums of getting your stuff out there, there's a lot of pressure on artists to put content out all the time. And it's great. It's a great opportunity, but you can kind of get lost in this thing where you always feel like you could be doing more. Because at any moment you could be filming a video, and so you kind of get lost in this thing of like, you have to keep doing it, and to have someone that's kind of reminding me like, hey, you've done enough, like chill out, like go take a break, go maybe go have a drink or something, like,
My barometer always was, if money were not a factor, what I still do today, what I'm going to do today.
No doubt. We would be writing songs if we were the only two guys on this planet.
Exactly.
100%.
And then
100%.
that's it.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
all that matters.
I was writing
That's all that
songs like-
matters because then you're
yeah.
coming from the heart.
Yeah. I was taking Beatles songs when I was a kid and just rewriting the lyrics,
Exactly.
so.
So when you tell him to go to the gym, he's gone, that's my pull is to write another song or to,
yeah.
You want to hear a stupid
That's true.
story? So, Greg was 16 when we started writing. So, I don't know what it was. I was like, we would take a break in the studio and I'd start doing push-ups. He would do push-ups, something. And then I would do one more than him. And then when I realized he got to be physically stronger than me, I wouldn't. He always wanted the challenge. I go, no,
Nope.
I quit undefeated.
Yeah,
It
he quit
pisses him off.
I'm done.
It just pisses him off. It's great. And you remember we went to see John in New Jersey?
Yeah.
And
Got arrested.
you got arrested, and I came to bail you
Yes,
out. I don't
I got
want to give that
arrested.
story away.
That sounds
I
like
got
a good
arrested.
story.
Because of a
they had
warrant
me-
on a
They had me
ticket?
friggin' handcuffed to a,
Yeah.
and they tracked Bobby down in the middle of the night in a hotel in New York.
In
And I'm
Manhattan.
like,
And I
you have
got
to
there
come
before
save
midnight,
me.
or they were going to
And you bailed her
transfer.
out?
Yeah.
Well, the police were great.
That's
I mean, I brought them
Yeah.
posters, and
Yeah,
at that
thank
time
goodness.
it was
The
cassettes.
white bread, yeah.
I brought them white
You
bread.
brought
I brought them white bread posters.
Yeah, he's like,
And
white
then-
bread's here.
White bread's here.
Don't put her in the slammer.
I said, did you put her in handcuffs?
I was in
and
handcuffs.
And they said, yes, we did, white bread. And I said, well, we'll never get her out of those handcuffs now. And then, but police escorted us
to the John Eddie show because I'm like,
Well,
he's
at
going to
the
hit the
pol-
show in like,
And the
he's hitting
police
the
came
stage in
with
like
us.
10 minutes and then we're never going to make
We
it.
went
so
in
they
the
gave us
police
a
cars.
police escort.
Because
yeah.
I took a taxi out there,
From New
and
York
they ended
City,
up
yeah.
arresting the taxi cab driver because
Oh,
he
that
didn't have
was
a
funny.
license.
'Cause
Remember
and he
that?
tried to
No
scam
way.
you.
Oh, yeah, something
He
about
tried to
the
he
fare,
tried to
but
charge like for a double fare and blah
I
blah,
don't
and
know.
then
But
they
Where was John playing? He was playing at the Playpen, or
I think so.
yeah, right.
I think so.
And then the
New
police,
Jersey.
they said,
Yeah, we're wrapping
and then the
up.
police ended up in the coming to
They
the show.
came to the show,
And we love
exactly.
those
That's
guys. They
right.
were nice guys, you know.
Exactly.
You just had a warrant for a parking ticket or
It
something
was a
stupid.
speeding
you know?
ticket or
That's
something.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why you got.
Yeah, that's why I got pulled over for whatever.
But you know what?
and they arrested
All
me.
these things at the time that seemed to be so stressful. But it's what you remember. Those are the fun
Right,
times.
it's true. Greg, thank you again so much for being part of our first Sunset Sessions Live.
It's my pleasure. Thanks to you. Thanks to Sean and Sunset Sessions. It's a pleasure to have the opportunities to do something like this. Thank you.
And I just can't wait for the next generation of Sunset Sessions Live.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right on, baby.
Cut. Perfect. That was it.
Cool.
All right.
All right.